Dateline, winter 1971, hot doggers descend upon Aspen Mountain for the first ever organized bump competition. Since then, freestyle skiing has been refined. It's now an Olympic medal sport and a showcase for top professionals. But since that first event, freestyle has not returned to Aspen until now.
And here we are now back in Aspen, 21 years after the inaugural freestyle event. Duffy, the sport returns.
Yeah, but it hasn't changed a lot, Tim. One thing that hasn't changed, it's another beautiful day on Aspen Mountain.
Well, we're getting a great look now at the treacherous sunset course. Duffy, the athletes are practicing, but we better get down there before the competition starts or they'll go without us. I'll race you.
Okay, let's go.
You didn't think I could ski, did you?
Well, let's get you up on sunset.
All right, well, welcome everyone to Aspen Mountain, ESPN's coverage of the World Mogul Tour. And the story here is Cameron's back. Double meaning here. Two-time defending tour champ Cameron Boyle back after a week off. And of course, his back injury seems to be recovered.
I talked to Cameron about it, and he says his back is fine. The doctors say he's fine. He says he's not hurting. So I think Cameron is back.
Now, will it be a healthy Cameron Boyle or an injured one? We don't know. Either way, the other competitors have renewed optimism.
Well, they've skied 2 weeks without Cameron out here. I think they've kind of forgotten about him. They've been paying attention to their own skiing. They've got to rule the hill here in Aspen. And the hill that they have to rule is Sunset. You can see it facing into the sun. That's going to make for some great soft snow. It's kind of a moderate course. It's moderately long, it's moderately steep. Just over 600 feet long, just over 34 degrees, and as usual, it's 55 feet wide.
Right now, let's take an even closer look at this sunset course. We're strapping a POV or point of view camera onto tour competitor Justin Patno. So sit back and enjoy a wild ride down Sunset.
Get it, baby.
Oh, yeah!
Oh, yeah!
Welcome back to Aspen and ESPN's coverage of the World Mogul Tour. Before we get to the quarterfinals, let's check out earlier today some of the preliminary action. All eyes were on Cameron Boyle and his first duel since his back injury. Looking healthy and strong, Cameron blew his way down the hill. Justin Patno will tell you that this is a sport of flash, and this flashy helicopter was the difference as he squeaked by Bill Carrig in the second round. Sweden's Patrick Karlman has a second and a third so far this year, but here he's outdone by some great air from Pete Moline. And Jared Simmons, the winner last week in Vail, used his smooth style of skiing to move into the quarterfinals. Here's how the quarterfinal draw looks. Dave Hill, now the #1 seed, will take on Pat Node. Then Moline faces Scott Koff. Jared Simmons goes up against Bradley Holmes. And Klaus Holm of Sweden will face Cameron Boyle. And this is a picture-perfect day here in Aspen as the spectators are taking in both the sunshine and the finest professional mogul skiers in the world. The top seed on the blue course, that's Dave Hill, a winner in Killington. He's taking on the exciting Justin Patnode.
Justin Patnode, exciting in the earlier rounds. Patnode was just flat flying. We look at Justin off the first jump. He's got a helicopter, and Dave, of course, with the spread.
Well, Dave Hill, the better skier without a doubt, but look for some great air. Maybe a double helicopter from Patnode on the second jump.
Hill's got the lead right now on the blue course, but he let his tails get out. Justin has one too. Hill let everything get out off the bottom air.
Hill takes a spill, lands on his hip, and Patnode goes conservatively on the second jump. Hill skied better for most of this course, and we await the judges' call as a mild upset may be in the works. On the red course, it is Justin Patnode advancing in his first year to his first ever semifinal showing. Dave Hill, the #1 seed, goes down, and his top ranking may be in jeopardy.
Justin Patnode out of the start on his way to the first air. And the patented Patnode helicopter straight on his feet and back into good body position in turns. Justin skiing very well. In contrast, Dave Hill is in the back seat, and you see Dave having to let his tails down to stay in control, and then there's no control off the air at the bottom of the hill. Justin skied very well in this round and said, yeah, I'm moving up.
And there's a look at Scott Koff, a runner-up last week in Vail and a 4-time tour champion. Koff, a serious competitor, sees this tour following suit.
When you're winning, it's like you can do anything. You can push it to the limit, you can be on the edge, and everything comes through for you. And when you're not quite there, I think there's always some moments of hesitation that hold you back a little bit. And I think for myself, those hesitations are behind me now.
31-year-old Scott Koff of the Spider team. He's on the red course. He'll be coming down on your left against Pete Megadeth Moline, 26 years old, his first quarterfinal appearance of the year.
Moline seated number 21. He's certainly coming from back in the pack to get into the quarterfinals here.
And they're off and on their way, and the first jumps and some great air both sides.
They're even right now, looking real hard at Scotty Koff, seeing how he's skiing. He's got the turns right now. Once again, 2 judges for turns, 1 for air, 1 for speed, and overall, Koff having problems right there above the lower jump.
Tremendous air on the single move by Moline on the right, a little more conservative by Koff, both with their hands pumped up thinking they won this, but their fate is in the hands of the judges. And the upsets continue here in Aspen as Pete Moline derails the 4-time champ and advances to the semifinals.
Pete Moline is so excited. This is as far as he's ever gone in a pro competition, and watch him go here on Sunset. Good double air at the top, and look at Moline lock in here. Knees are just basically glued together. Great upper body, and you can see Pete occasionally step out right there. Nice maneuver, stays on his feet. Talk about go big. He just about goes off the planet. He doesn't need a double air. It was a great air. On the other hand, I'm not sure what's happening with Scotty. He might be having problems with his knee. He just doesn't seem to be very inspired here, and he gets back. You can see him sliding out a little bit. This is not Scott Koff that we're used to at the bottom. It's sort of a 2.5 trick, not Scotty's day.
So Justin Patnode and Pete Moline are through to the semis. Stay with us. We've got more quarterfinal action coming up from Aspen.
Welcome back to Aspen, Colorado in the competition here on the Bud Mogul Tour on the Sunset Trail. You know, to win on the Bud Mogul Tour, you've got to convince these 5 people that you've done the best job. The most important thing is making great turns, because there's 2 judges that are judging those turns. They can award 5 points, give you 4-1, whatever it might be. The next thing is aerials. You've got to have a good trick, it's got to be well executed, and it's got to have a lot of pizzazz to it. Speed, first guy across the finish line, he wins the race. The overall judge is kind of the tiebreaker, 25 points the total.
And now we'll look at the top at Jared Simmons, 25 years old. The California native won his first event last week in Vail, and he has high expectations for the remainder of the season.
Well, the athletes seem to think that it's good that I won because I skied really well and I was winning with my skiing and not with just my jumping. A lot of times in the pros, it seems the judges will get thrown off just because someone does a helicopter or something and they'll win the duel when really the other guy skis better. So it looks like the judging's getting better and I'm skiing better.
Jared Simmons is on the blue course. On your left, Bradley Holmes, 22 years old. On the red course, 2 former World Cuppers, 2 great skiers, and Duffy, perhaps the future of professional mogul skiing.
No question about that. As we look to the future of this run, the blue course has been skiing faster. Talking to the competitors, they don't want to say which course is better. I don't think they want to psych themselves out. Top air, both doubling up on the top tip.
Bradley Holmes skiing the tight turns very quickly down the left side.
Brad Holmes right down the middle, and you saw Simmons move to the outside of the course.
Simmons fueled up after the win last week, pulls the triple maneuver, but nice air as well for Bradley Holmes. The 2 friends and former World Cup teammates cross the finish line together. And 4 out of the 5 judges like Bradley Holmes. It will not be a repeat for Jared Simmons. Holmes moves on to the semifinals.
Well, here we go at real speed. I don't know what one of those judges was watching, but they gave the turns to Jared. Look at Brad Holmes. Perfect position, a great ride, great deflection, excellent air, just magnificent technique.
And our final quarterfinal matchup. Cameron Boyle against Klaus Holm. Cameron Boyle, the 2-time defending tour champ, coming back from a back injury. Is he healthy?
Well, today's my first day back skiing bumps, and feels all right so far today. You know, I was a little cautious at first. I got up there this morning, the air bumps looked real big, but been taking it easy so far. I don't know, we'll have to wait till tomorrow and just see how it goes.
The champion, Cameron Boyle, has slipped to number 2 temporarily in this season's rankings. He's taking on number 10, Klaus Holm, seeded 10th right now. Holm skiing out of Sweden.
Cameron skiing on the blue course. He likes the blue course. You know what else he likes, Tim? He likes being on the bottom side of that bracket. Being seeded number 2 gives him a good shot at the final. Let's watch Cameron into the first air. They're even on the first air, tripling up.
Huge bumps, hard bumps. How will that affect Cameron Boyle's back?
I talked to Cameron about it. He says he feels fine. He's skiing great. Klaus is giving him everything he wants, but Klaus has trouble just before the final air. Cameron Boyle looks good to the finish.
Nearly a dead heat across the finish line, although Holm may have gotten the speed advantage. We just saw Bradley Holm. That was Klaus Holm. Literally Holm on the range today. On the blue course in a squeaker, Cameron Boyle has advanced to the semifinals in search of regaining the top spot.
Cameron Boyle is back, skiing very well on the upper section of the course. Great position, great turns. To the lower air, we see a Daffy, a twister, and a spread. Great triple. The landing is rough. Looks like a guy who's still feeling some pain.
So the semifinals are set here in Aspen. A couple of new faces. Justin Patnode and Pete Moline will join Bradley Holmes and Cameron Boyle. You know, here at Aspen, they call the mountain the Athlete's Mountain. They purposely don't groom a lot of the trails, leaving huge bumps for the talented skiers. It would seem fit, well, for only a mountain goat. Well, here's the next best thing. The Tour's Mountain Goat team, showing off the brand new World Pro Mogul Tour clothing line and strutting their stuff on Aspen Mountain.
Welcome back to Aspen, everyone. Tim Singer along with Duffy Wilson. How can you top that? These guys riding up the chairlift, taking in the sun, and getting a free look at the Bud Mogul Tour. We're now set for the semifinals. On the left, Justin Patnode, an exciting young skier in his first year on the tour. He's taking on Pete Moline. Moline skiing like a champion this week after disappointing showings all season long.
Moline had a good ride in here. I don't think Scotty Koff was skiing very well. He might have been injured. Both of these guys have something to prove. This is as far as they've gone all year.
They're off and on their way, headed for the first jump.
Patnode gets a great helicopter. He is sticking that maneuver every time he throws it.
Justin Patnode, currently ranked first in World Extreme Skiing. Those are the guys dropped off on top of the mountains by the helicopter. Speaking of which, here come the second jumps.
I have to say that Pete skied very well in the middle section of the course. He might get the turns.
Well, they call him Megadeth, and he is pumped up. Pete Moline, who just got married a few months ago, still living the wild life on the Mogul Tour. And it is Pete Moline advancing to the championship. Here is this week's newcomer, Pete Moline, as he tops Justin Patnode.
And there is Pete's wife, Gail, going crazy. Justin Patnode had a good run. You know, he only lost by 1 point. He had great air, but he did not have the turns. Pete Moline had the turns. The 2 turns judges went to him. His air was big, but it certainly wasn't great. And of course, he won the speed.
And the semifinals continue. Cameron Boyle on the left, Bradley Holmes on the right. Before his injury, Boyle finished first in Telluride, first in Breckenridge, first in Sunday River. Bradley Holmes has a second place, a 5th and an 8th to his credit, and he's skiing great right here in Aspen.
Timmy, this is just flat out going to be a great run. You wouldn't get a better semifinal than this.
The champion against Bad Rad Bumpin' Brad.
First air, they're locked up even. Great tricks, good liftoff.
Cameron Boyle trying to come all the way back from a back injury and move back in front in the tour. That's Bradley Holmes, a little out of control right now on the right.
And Cameron Boyle just basically cruises into the finish. Holmes having his problems.
The snow blows for Cameron Boyle, and Holmes picked a bad opportunity to have a bad run as the judges' scores come in. And as if he's never been hurt, Cameron Boyle is back into the finals. A pat on the back to his friend Bradley Holmes.
Well, Tim, I think that Cameron Boyle dodged a bullet here. He drew the red course, and the red course has not produced very many winners today. Cameron skied fairly well, but you can see as he gets down into the middle of the course here, he's stemming out a little bit right there. He loses his body position. This isn't the really clean skiing that we're used to with Cameron Boyle.
Here's how things shape up for the championship. One's coming out of nowhere, the other coming back from an injury as Pete Moline challenges Cameron Boyle. And this ESPN program note coming up Friday, February 21st, coverage of the U.S. Pro Tour from Squaw Valley, California. Join Bob Varshaw with the call at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Meantime, our coverage of the Bud Mogul Tour from Aspen, Colorado continues right after this.
We're back here loving the sunshine at Aspen. Tim Singer along with Duffy Wilson. The championship is upcoming. Now at the top of the program, we mentioned that freestyle skiing was born right here on Aspen Mountain 21 years ago. But what we didn't tell you is that Duffy Wilson was one of the competitors.
And it was a day very much like today, Tim. A beautiful sunny day. The guys out on the hill strutting their stuff. Unfortunately for me, I was a little injured. I didn't do very well.
Strutting their stuff, the competitors would sometimes jump out of trees onto the course. For the record, Sid Erickson was the winner. We're almost set to crown a winner right here, but first let's go to the top for the consolation matchup. This is for third place on the left red course. Brad Holmes, originally from Pennsylvania, now lives in Squaw Valley, California. On the right, Justin Patnode, originally from Stowe, Vermont, now living in Colorado. Duffy, that's a trend. Move west to the deep snow.
A lot of freestyle skiers in Breckenridge, a lot of freestyle skiers here in Aspen. We're about to see the 2 different styles. Flash on the blue, World Cup skiing on the red.
And we may see the indication right there on the top jump, both trying the helicopters and succeeding.
Well, Justin nailed his helicopter again. I'll tell you what, he's got that down. Let's look at these turns, Tim.
Well, Justin with the wide turns, angular body, Bradley Holmes with the tight turns, and that gives him the speed. But it was Patnode with the better air on the bottom.
And definitely Brad Holmes pulling off a great kick over cross there at the bottom.
And in a tight call, Bradley Holmes, after falling to Cameron Boyle in the semis, comes back for a medal performance. Third place for Bradley Holmes as he tops Justin Patnode.
Both skiers getting out of the start at the top together, and we watch as Patnode goes boom, the patented helicopter, and right square on his feet. A great double by Brad Holmes, and as we ISO on Brad and watch him head on down the hill, we just see why he won. Great turns and a great run for third place by Bradley Holmes.
This is for the championship here in Aspen, Colorado. A matchup of who's who versus who's he. On the left, Pete Moline has not made it to the quarterfinals in any event this year. He's taking on the two-time defending tour champ Cameron Boyle, winner of 3 events this year. Duffy, we talk about the new breed, but here is Cameron poised and ready for another title.
Yeah, he certainly is. I think we have to say right now that Cameron looks really good, but Moline just could be the man to do it. He's on fire.
Moline on the left, Boyle on the right, both 26 years old.
Moline's having trouble under his first air. He's getting back into it, but he's out of control. Cameron Boyle is just basically going to win another one.
Cameron Boyle, smooth as silk. What back injury as he hits the high triple maneuver at the bottom air. Across the finish line ahead of Moline is Cameron Boyle, appearing to be all the way back on the Bud Mogul Tour. And the scores are in decisively. Cameron Boyle has captured his 4th title in 6 events this season, but a great showing nonetheless by Pete Moline.
Another victory for Cameron Boyle and another start in the finals. And something we've seen before, skiers going up against Cameron and skiing beyond themselves. And it's sad to say that Pete Moline right here saved his worst run for last. Look at Pete, he's out of control in the middle of the course. He's just trying to beat Cameron, but he beats himself. On the other hand, Cameron Boyle, no problem. Smooth, a great finish, and another win for Cameron.
So here's how the final standings look. Cameron Boyle outduels Pete Moline, then it's Bradley Holmes and Justin Patnode, with Jared Simmons leading off the back half of the top finishers. The story, as it has been all season, is Cameron Boyle, and he's standing by with Duffy Wilson.
Well, we've been saying it all day. Cameron Boyle is back. Congratulations, Cameron. A great day in Aspen.
Thanks a lot. It was a long day. It was I got really lucky. The course was soft today. The back started bothering me end of the day there, and I was lucky to pull it through.
Did you have any doubts that you would come back and win again?
I didn't think I'd end up first today. I was really just hoping for a top 8, just to keep in contention with Hilby, and I don't know, you just take one run at a time. After that, you know, you just go up and try it again.
Well, Aspen welcomes freestyle back, and they also welcome Cameron Boyle back, the champion here in Aspen.
We had a great women's competition as well here in Aspen. It was just a week ago that woman right there, Sue DeBias, suffered the greatest of disappointments, just missing out on the U.S. Olympic mogul team. But Sue promptly turned pro, cruised through the field here in Aspen, topping Darian Boyle in the championship. The Bud Mogul Tour has again taken a turn, and Cameron Boyle is again on top. We'll see you next at Arapahoe Basin, Colorado. Until then, for Duffy Wilson, I'm Tim Singer. Thanks for joining us.